All right, welcome to your mission briefing. Today, we're not just flipping through a textbook. Nope, we are launching a full-on operation to conquer those compulsory 20 marks in your geography practicals. The goal? A top score. First up, our primary target, that 10-mark topo sheet question. You know the one I'm talking about. It can feel a little tricky, but trust me, after we're done here, you're going to see it as 10 easy, guaranteed marks. Let's do this. So, what's the mission? It's not just about passing, it's about absolute precision. It's about strategy. We're gonna make sure you leave no mark behind. Okay, let's dive in. Every great mission starts with understanding the battlefield. For us, that battlefield is the map, and its language is the grid system. Getting this right is the foundation for absolutely everything else we're gonna cover. So the grid is built on just two types of lines. It's pretty simple. Think of eastings as the vertical, standing lines, and the numbers get bigger as you move east, to the right. And northings, they're the horizontal, sleeping lines, and their numbers get bigger as you go north, up the map. So when these eastings and northings cross, they create this whole network of squares, right? A grid reference is just the set of coordinates you use to find something inside one of those squares. This is your first, most essential skill. Okay, basic training is officially over. Time to get our hands dirty with some field technique. We're moving from just knowing what the lines are to actually using them to find a target, with both 4-figure and, for extra precision, 6-figure grid references. There's a really simple rule for this. You always go along the corridor and then up the stairs. So for a 4-figure reference, you find your target square. First, you look for the vertical line immediately to the left of it. That's your easting. Then, you find the horizontal line immediately below it. That's your norming. Always easting first, then northing. That's the key. Now, a 4-figure reference is good. It gets you into the right neighborhood, that 1 kilometer square. But to be a real pro, a hero, you need to get able to find the exact front door. And for that, you need 6 figures. So how do you get this pinpoint accuracy? You start with a 4-figure reference you already found. Then, to get the third digit, you measure in millimeters from that easting line on the left, moving eastward towards your target. Take that number and divide it by 2. For the 6th digit, you do the same thing. Measure from the northing line at the bottom, moving northward, and divide by 2. Here's the golden rule, the one thing you gotta remember. 2 millimeters on your ruler equals 1 unit for your reference. Okay, so now we can find exactly where something is, but what is that place actually like? A great operative doesn't just find a location, they understand the terrain. They can read all the secret clues hidden in the map. And one of the biggest clues is height. The map shows it in 4 main ways. A triangulated height or a benchmark, those are super accurate, like engineering level stuff. A spot height is more of a general idea, just a dot saying, it's about this high right here. And relative height is pretty cool. That little r means it's not the height above sea level, but the height of something, like a riverbank, compared to the ground right next to it. Now let's talk about all those squiggly brown lines. Those are contour lines, and they're the map's secret weapon for showing you 3D terrain on a flat piece of paper. If you were to walk along one of those lines, you'd stay at the exact same height. The rule is dead simple. The closer together the lines are, the steeper the hill is. And remember, the gap between each line is always 20 meters in height. Even the way water flows can tell you a story about the landscape. Dendritic patterns look just like the branches of a tree, which usually means the land is pretty flat. A trellised pattern looks more like a grid, with streams meeting at right angles. Radial patterns spread out from a single high point, like the spokes of a wheel. And if you see a disappearing stream, well, it just fades away, which is a massive clue that you're in a sandy or desert area. The colors on the map are basically an intelligence report. They tell you what people do for a living there. You see a big patch of yellow? That's farmland. You see green? That means forestry, or maybe land for animals to graze. White patches? That's rocky, uncultivatable badland. You can practically figure out the entire local economy just by looking at the colors. All right, operatives, it's time for the final rapid-fire briefing. We're going to cover the last 2 critical skills you need, measuring distance and nailing those high-value targets on the map of India. This is how we secure that other 10 marks. Let's go. So, how do you measure a winding road or a curvy river? It's actually super simple. You just take a piece of thread and carefully lay it along the path on the map. Then you straighten out the thread and measure it on a ruler. And here's the only rule you need to burn into your brain. Whatever that length is in centimeters, you just cut it in half.
That's the real distance in kilometers. It is that easy.
And for the Map of India section, this right here is your high-value target list, your hit list. You have to know where these key mountains, rivers, cities, and lines are. If you can accurately mark these on the map, those 10 marks are as good as yours. And that's it. Mission briefing complete. You have the training, you've got the intel, and you've got the strategy. You are fully equipped to go in there and secure all 20 of those marks. You are a superstar. Now go claim your victory.